On a quiet autumn morning precisely on the 23rd of September 2009, the city of Stockholm, the capital of Sweden, was still wrapped in its usual sleep. The time was 5:15 in the morning. The streets were nearly empty, the air was cold and the sky still pitch dark. Suddenly, the sound of a small helicopter pierced the silence. But it wasn't an ambulance nor a police chopper. It was carrying three men wearing black masks and equipped in a way that resembled scenes from high-end heist movies. The helicopter boldly landed on the roof of the Falcon Bank, one of the main banks in the city. Before anyone could grasp what was happening, the three men had broken through the rooftop and shattered the windows, leading inside, heading straight toward the vault. The police who were preparing to respond were shocked to find their own headquarters had already been surrounded by fake explosives, and the roads leading out were blocked with sharp spikes, capable of puncturing tires within seconds. There was no time to act, and no way to stop them. In less than 20 minutes the gang had taken what they wanted and flew off again, leaving behind one of the most violent and seamless robberies in Sweden's history. But the real question wasn't how they stole. It was how this act was planned and who was behind it. And here the story begins. We go back months before the day of the robbery. Months before the morning of the robbery, there was a man living a seemingly ordinary life, but inside he was boiling. His name was Alexander Eriksson, a man in his late 30s, calm in nature, passionate about aviation and a licensed helicopter pilot. He had worked for civil aviation companies and had solid experience in aerial navigation. But behind all that, he was drowning in debt, and his financial life was quietly collapsing. One night Alexander sat with a group of acquaintances, some of whom had criminal records in theft and forgery. The conversation slowly turned toward a wild idea. What if we pulled off the heist of a lifetime? A clean operation, well organized. No blood, no gunfire, just pure planning and execution. The question wasn't can we do it? It was how. That's when an unconventional scenario lit up in Alexander's mind. He said to them, "Everyone steals from the ground, but what if we came from the sky?" And thus the idea of robbing a bank using a helicopter was born. The actual planning began weeks before the day of the heist. The first step was renting a helicopter from a private aviation company, using fake documents and a false identity. Then the target was chosen. Falcon Bank, a branch that held a large cash vault on its upper floor, storing massive amounts of money every Wednesday and Thursday before distribution to financial institutions. They surveilled the area, studied the bank's entrances, the timing of security shifts, the surveillance cameras, and even the sound of the alarm system. After that, Alexander assembled his team. Just 5 individuals. He himself, the pilot and mastermind. 2 specialized in lockpicking and small explosives. 1 expert in security systems and jamming. And 1 for surveillance and radio communication. They didn't stop at the bank itself. They planned to disable the police as well. They planted fake bombs around the rapid response unit's headquarters and scattered steel spikes across the roads leading to the bank. Everything was calculated. The timing, the weather, the patrol movement, even the exact duration needed to open the vault. 17 minutes only. Execution time. The Joker enters. Wednesday morning, September 23, 2009. The clock struck 5:15 a.m. and the city was still asleep. On the horizon, a small Bell 206 helicopter appeared, flying at a low altitude with 3 men inside, wearing black masks and equipped with precise tools. The helicopter flew directly above the Falcon Bank branch in the Vastberga area south of Stockholm. With precise coordination, the helicopter landed on the bank's roof and hovered in place, with its engine running ready for takeoff at any moment. The thieves descended in a calculated and practiced manner. They didn't use random ladders but brought special ropes and professional climbing gear. They broke one of the windows leading to the upper floor and quickly entered a narrow hallway that led to the cash room. Meanwhile, the alarm systems began sending signals. But the police were met with an unexpected surprise. The headquarters of the Rapid Response Unit had already been surrounded with suspicious packages resembling bombs, and all the roads leading to the bank were covered with sharp nails. Any fast move meant an explosion or an accident. The police couldn't deploy their helicopters either because the rooftop was being watched and the risk was too high. Inside the building, the thieves used very light explosives designed to break locks without destroying the vault. And in less than 20 minutes, they opened the storage doors and seized an estimated $6.5 million in cash. Just moments later, the three climbed back onto the roof, boarded the helicopter, and left the scene exactly as they came from the sky without a trace. The police arrived 10 minutes after they left. But by then everything was already over. Part 4: The Great Escape. Smoke in the sky and footprints without shadows. After the helicopter took off from the bank's rooftop, it headed south toward a remote rural area outside Stockholm. The gang was not only prepared to escape but had planned to erase every trace. The helicopter was flown about 25 kilometers until it reached a dense forest area far from any surveillance cameras or human presence. There they left it as it was. They turned off the engine, hid some of their tools in the forest, and then left the scene in a stolen car that had been parked earlier in an abandoned spot waiting for them with precision. What was truly astonishing, even during the escape they stopped to change clothes, wipe fingerprints and spray the helicopter with chemical substances that would disable any forensic tracking attempts. The police found the helicopter after hours of searching, but found no direct trace of the fugitives, and even the cameras that had captured the thieves from a distance. They had made sure to hide their faces and wear clothing that completely covered their bodies, revealing no identifiable features. It was a clean, quiet, and fast crime without a single drop of blood. Investigations: who were they and who was the mastermind? The investigation lasted for weeks. The newspapers were buzzing with the story and the public was stunned. How could they have pulled off such a crime with this level of precision and calm? After heavy media pressure, the police began to suspect a few names, among them Alexander Eriksson. The police had no direct evidence, but there were phone calls, suspicious movements, the helicopter rental, and some tools linked to him, all of which placed his name under suspicion. After multiple raids, Alexander and several individuals believed to have assisted him were arrested. They were put on trial. But the surprising part was that most of the money was never recovered. To this day, no one knows where more than 90% of the stolen amount disappeared. Was this just a robbery? Or was there a larger entity behind it, using Alexander and his team as mere fronts? And were all those involved truly caught? Or are some still free, living off their fortune somewhere in this world? Part 5: The conclusion. Has the story ended or just begun? After months of investigation and under immense pressure from the media and public opinion, the Swedish police announced that they had arrested several suspects, most notably Alexander Eriksson, the pilot and the man believed to be the mastermind behind the operation. In court, Alexander denied all charges. He claimed he was innocent and not even in the city at the time of the heist. But the prosecution presented circumstantial evidence: phone calls, surveillance footage, suspicious financial activity. In the end, he and some of the accused were convicted and sentenced to prison terms ranging from 5 to 8 years. Yet despite that, the real mystery was never fully solved. Where did the money go? Out of the $6.5 million, the police recovered only a very small amount, barely $500,000. No one knows exactly how or where the rest disappeared. Was it smuggled out of the country, hidden in secret locations? Or was there a more powerful entity behind the operation, using the team as mere executors? To this day, many believe that the true mastermind of the heist was never caught, and that what we witnessed was just the beginning. The helicopter robbery has become one of the most famous crimes in European history. Not just because it was bold, but because it was nearly perfect. A clean heist from the sky. No bullets, no blood, and no real ending. So has the story ended? Or has it only just begun? And you, what do you think? Was Alexander truly the mastermind? Or is there someone else who is yet to appear? Let me know in the comments and share your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Because in the world of true crime stories there's always more to tell.